Right. 18 November 2025. And today I'm very happy to be giving you the midday update. So today we've had a very eventful day in which a lot of things went wrong. But at the end of the day, everything ended well, with the Sikhala being granted bail of 10,000 rands, and also Narrator being granted the same amount of bail. So they are required to come to court on the 3rd of February 2026. So that is the day when they're supposed to come back to court. So the events that happened today were very crazy. A lot of emotion went into the events of today, starting with the morning when the first group of lawyers was fired. So they were sitting there and they were fired after Sikhala and his team did not pay them. So they said in court that there were financial reasons why they were leaving the case. And the second lawyer, or the new lawyer who came, was Mabuza, was instructed by Mabuza, a very experienced lawyer, one of the most experienced lawyers I've ever seen. They handled the case so well. They pushed back at the judge very hard. The judge wanted to postpone the matter to tomorrow, the 14th, but they pushed enough until the judge agreed to hear the case today. So after the case was agreed to be heard today, the old lawyers left, and we went through the morning, all the morning's proceedings, which I showed you, where the questions were being put to both sides of lawyers, and the NPA did not oppose bail. So the case went through as a Schedule 1. A Schedule 1 offense is an offense that is not serious, or an offense that is of a normal nature in which the state has to prove why he isn't to be granted bail. Then the judge pulled a surprise when he Googled on social media and found a website which said Sikhala had a conviction. So he had 2 convictions that were supposedly from 2019. And so the case had to be adjourned. And after they adjourned, the group of people that were representing Sikhala then had to get documents from Zimbabwe. Lucky for them, they did get the documents. So they got proof that Sikhala did not have any convictions in Zimbabwe. So the case was then left to go back to Schedule 1 and not Schedule 5. However, to put another twist, there was apparently a letter written to Interpol on the 11th. So a letter was written on the 11th to Interpol to ask them if Sikhala had ever been convicted to any matter or on any matter regarding explosives or violence. And Interpol had not responded. So that email to Interpol was not responded. However, the judge agreed with the defense that it does not have a bearing on whether Sikhala should get bail or not. So eventually, Sikhala did get bail of 10,000 rands, with Narrator also getting bail of 10,000 rands. However, what I wanted to talk about here is the strange situation that occurred during the adjournment. So as I was standing in the passage filming, showing you guys what was happening, to my surprise, another guy came to my right and started to ask why we're filming, what were we saying inside the court, why were we talking, what were we talking about in the court regarding Sikhala's case. So this guy came to my right. I said to him, we do have permission to film, and there's a court order. So there's a court order which allowed the journalists to be inside the court. So I told him we have actually have permission, and I've been talking to the family of Tema since the first day when Job was arrested. I was actually talking to them at court. So I wanted to find out who was questioning the fact that journalists were filming, and particularly, I think at this point they believed that maybe he was not going to get bail or something. So they were very anxious. So I walked over to where the family was standing. So I inquired, we've been given permission to film. Is there a problem that we're filming the case? And to my shock, the wife of Job Sikhala was very aggressive. She just turned around to us and said, why don't you go and film the G20? There's the G20 summit, which is currently ongoing. Why don't you film the G20? Very aggressively. And then she said something to the effect of, you're going to see what is going to happen if you guys continue doing what you're doing. This is not Job Sikhala. Essentially, Job Sikhala is a public figure. So let people see what's happening in court. And she said Job Sikhala is a public figure, but it's not a public figure for Gambakwe. You guys, and they had to restrain her because she kept saying so much, and it was terrible, terrible. I cannot believe it. My Sikhala, I always thought she was some sort of someone who would be way more understanding given what has happened to Job Sikhala and the support that Job Sikhala has received from Zimbabweans. But what I saw today is shocking. I cannot say, to me, this was the most shocking thing I've ever seen. And to me, most guys who know, when we cover cases from outside South Africa, we get this a lot. The Lungu family had the same reaction when we were covering live their case. It was very aggressive. They were very aggressive. But for my Sikhala, it was a direct death threat. They had to close their mouth because of the death threats that she was issuing over there. So people who were with her had to restrain her and actually close their mouth because of the death threats that were coming out of her mouth. So to me, I don't know what needs to be done, but this is terrible. I don't believe that Job Sikhala would have reacted in this way. Maybe that is what instruction is given, that people shouldn't be allowed to film. But to issue death threats, that is way above a normal. I don't know. My view of my Job Sikhala has changed today, and it will be very hard for me to go back to normal. So let's go to the comments. I can see some of the people here who are commenting, and it's clear to me that the team here, Job Sikhala, they don't have someone who is restraining the people and giving them guidance. And I'm saying this for the record so that you guys know. Eventually, maybe later on in life, when they go into government, you come back to this video and tell me what I'm talking about. There is a very, very big problem in this group. And I'm saying this, I'm giving this to you because I've dealt with many court cases. I go to court cases a lot, especially here in South Africa. I've never seen a family member doing what my Job Sikhala did and what the guys who are supposedly in Job Sikhala's team doing. So someone needs to give them a bit of guidance, and also my Job Sikhala, she needs to get guidance, because that is crazy. I don't know. That is crazy what she did over there. And then let's see the fact that people realize that she's a representative puppet. That is why they are angry at you. Don't worry, Vusi. One day you understand. If you are in the opposition and you think that you can issue death threats to ZANU, you are just as bad as ZANU. If you're in the opposition, you can't issue death threats. I've had so many death threats issues against me during Nyoka's case. I know the kind of things that I'm talking about. The day when you start issuing death threats, you are inviting death threats on yourself. And that's not the Zimbabwe that we want. We want people that are calm and able to express themselves. And as I said, the group that is with Job Sikhala, myself, you will never see me covering live any Job Sikhala event. I am done. I'm done with Job Sikhala's events. They can go and cover themselves. I'll also sit on the table and talk about it. Whatever they're doing over there, they must do. But you'll not see me going to cover Job Sikhala live events. You can have other medias. There are many, many media houses that are there, but you won't see me over there. Right. I think I've covered it. Job Sikhala people, they are hearing me. If you ever get to rule Zimbabwe, I am going to go to exile. If Job Sikhala's people lead Zimbabwe in any day, I'm going to go to exile, especially if Mayam Sikhala is going to be the first lady of Zimbabwe. After what she did today, if the day Job Sikhala wins elections, I pack my bags, I leave Zimbabwe, I come back after she's done. I'm not going to stay in a country where there's such a violent first lady who issues such words, to the point where people went next to her had to close her mouth so that she could not continue talking. That is how bad it was. And the reason being, why are you covering live? You should be covering G20. You mustn't be filming here. He's a public figure, but he's not a public figure for you guys. It was terrible. And I can't even repeat some of the things that were said here. Very disappointed in her. And I will, in fact, I need to leave this thing right now because I've wasted so much time on it. And I've put all my efforts in making sure that people see what's happening to Job Sikhala. So that is what has happened today. She's been granted bail back in court on the 3rd of February. And we'll see what happens. So the question is, did they tell you to broadcast in the court? Yes, there is a court order. So you guys in Zimbabwe don't know. When a court case starts in South Africa, you go to the judge to apply, and a court order is issued to say journalists can cover. That is why you see us standing at the front. We're not at the back of the gallery. So we are allowed to film what is happening in court. And that is terrible. So I don't know. And as I said, I am strongly saying that the behavior, not only of my Job Sikhala, but of the guys around it, basically, was very disappointing to me. I expect these guys to understand, and it's crazy. All right. I would like to thank all of you for watching. I'll see you guys later. So I just arrived here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang around a bit, and then we'll unpack other matters later on. So today is a Thursday. Let's see if anything has happened when I was away, and then we'll take it from there. I would like to thank all of you for watching. I'll see you again later tonight, and a good day to you all.